Hello and welcome to my third video on how I use plugins in live sound. Today's topic is acoustic guitar. In this video, I would talk about how I set up my acoustic guitar channel, either a mono channel or stereo channel. And then I would talk about the approach that I take in selecting the plugins and the routing of the signals. Okay. Sometimes the routing of the signal is very important too, that affect your guitar in a different way, and it can make the sound a lot better if you know how to do it. Okay, so that's very important too, not just the plugin that you select. But before we dive into the plugins and setup and all, I just want to make a few things clear. Plugins do not fix all of the problems. Okay, in other words, if your guitar has a problem, if you have a cheap guitar that has a wrong string on it, they have the buzzing string, the sound that coming out of it is dull, and in other words, it's just bad sounding guitar. The plugin cannot fix all of that and turn your cheaply made guitar into an expensive one, or a bad sounding guitar into a good sounding, lush and rich sounding guitar. Okay, so whatever you have to do before you use the plugins, do it to get the guitar sound to sound decent, to sound balanced and natural. Most of the guitar has a pickup system that there's onboard EQ, compression. Sometimes there's a blend between the piezo pickup and the mic pickup, or between the piezo pickup and the images. Like in my case, I have a Martin guitar. It's a Performance Artist series. It has a piezo pickup and the 9 images of the museum piece in it. So I can blend between the piezo and those images, okay, if I want to. And I have 2 sets of EQ on there, one for the piezo and the other one is for the image, okay. So I can basically dial in any bass, mid and treble for those. I have a compression on board too. So those are the things that I would do first. I would make sure my guitar sound balanced and natural before I even use any plugin on it. Okay. And also I want to talk about the different playing style that affect the sound when you set up a guitar. For my guitar, it's very straightforward because I know my guitar, okay, and I have the sound system at home that tune up really well. I ping noise all of these speakers, and so it sounds really balanced when my guitar plugged in, and I know exactly what to do with it. But when I set up a guitar for other people at church, sometimes they just bring an acoustic guitar for me, and just hand it to me to set it up for them before they play live. I just took the time first to take a look at their EQ, because when they play that guitar at home, they have a small combo amp at home, or it's just a random speaker at home that is not tuned to anything. It's not even tuned to the room of their house. So they have the EQ all over the places, okay, to say the least. So first thing first, I have to go in there and turn off all the plugins, and then just use the raw sound from their guitar that plug directly into the mixer, and use that sound to correct any problem first. Like if there's too much bass, too much trebles, anything that I can correct on the guitar, I would do it first before I get any plugin into it. So even after all of that, I put in the plugin, I make it sound really good, and I play it. I sample it and sound really good. And when I hand it to them, the sound that they make on the guitar, it's nothing like what I did, what I make, because when I pick with fingernails or I strum with fingernail, it sounds different than when they play with the pick. So when they play with the pick, the sound tend to be a little bit different, more treble. It sometimes creates the harshness, in the sound too. So I have to factor it in, when I set up a guitar for a different person that play strumming style with the pick. Okay, now let's assume that we already tuned the guitar to its best sonically, balanced and natural, okay? Now let's just dive in to set up the mono channel for this guitar. The first thing is, because I want to make it simple first, your guitars always have one output, right? That's just mono output to the DI, and DI go to the mixer. And on the mixer, there's only one channel for your guitar. That's a mono channel for your guitar. And then I will show you how to set up the stereo guitar also, which is another thing that you can enhance your guitar dramatically, okay? Now let's look into Studio One to see what we can do about that. Okay, so here's my Studio One session with the mono channel pulled up here. I just create this channel and put in, my, some plugins that I think it might help with enhancing the guitar. So right now I have all the plugin turned off, and I just want to play my guitar. This is the Martin Performance Artist series. It has the Aura F1 on. And this guitar sounds really nice by itself. So, it doesn't have a lot of things to fix. It's really balanced. I have the EQ on board to fix anything that I need. So right now, the guitar sounds very, very good, okay? Without any plug-in. Okay, so that's my raw guitar. And now I also record some of the track here. So as you can see that right now I have the guitar track play, okay? The guitar track that I try to do is not a song or anything that, special. It's just the way that I usually test the guitar out by playing some of the finger picking, and then light strumming, and then some note, and then I strum really harsh too, just to see how harsh it can be, okay? Because, depend on how you play the guitar and the volume, the level of the guitar, the sound may change completely. Sometimes you finger pick a guitar and it sounds really nice and balanced, but when you actually strum it really hard, the sound is out of whack sometimes, okay? So that's why you want to test all this condition, and then you fix it appropriately when you put the plug-in on, okay? And I'll show you that part. So right now, I have, if you look on here, I have 4 plugins, okay? So the first plugin will be the saturation knob. So the saturation knob is the plugin that it can enhance the sound a little bit because it creates some sort of distortion, harmonic distortion, okay? And as you turn it up, you hear more warm, and sometimes not only the warm, but the bite on the top edge, like on the treble part, it's actually have the bite, and it make a guitar stand out in the mix, okay? Otherwise, your guitar will sound dull and really smooth, then it won't stay above the mix, with other instrument, okay? So because the sub tube, it actually break up the high a little bit, so you can feel like it stand out a little bit more, okay? Let me just play it, okay? So you know what I'm talking about. So right now, it's not engaged, okay? This is finger picking. All right, you hear it warm and balanced and everything, right? And now to little playing notes. Now this is light strumming, okay? And it's still okay. Light strumming, it's actually not too bad. Like I say, the Martins sound really nice, okay? Okay, here's the part that you hear a little harsh, okay? When I go up high on the high note, up the neck of the guitar, it's still not too bad, okay? It's still very sweet. And the low notes is very, very good, right? And then when it comes to this part, when I strum really hard, let's see what it sounds like. You can hear the hardness of it. Okay, still some playing up notes. Okay. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Okay. Now, if you hear this one, and I'm gonna turn it on and off for you. Let me turn it on right now. Okay. Even with minimum, you feel the sound change already, but I'm gonna push it up. Okay. You never go over the middle here. Okay, you go over on the other side, it's gonna be really distorted. You hear this distortion? You don't want that, okay? So this is where I want it, okay? So that's how nice and warmed and everything. Now let's turn it up. Turn on. Turn up again. On and up. See, you can hear the warmness and the smoothness in the bottom, but at the top it actually has a little grit. Okay. All right, so that's the first plugin. Now the second one is the ezmix. Okay, let me turn on the ezmix here. Right now I'm just gonna grab a acoustic guitar setting from this ezmix. Okay, so basically it only have one knob right here that you can go from minimum to the maximum. What it does is it has a little EQ unit, compressor unit. You know, like this one they call it ezmix because they don't let you change any parameter in this unit. You just have the knob that you push up. Most of the time you have either one knob or two knobs, but in this one you only have one knob because this knob over here doesn't have anything. Okay, so right now let me put it to 100% and play the track so you see the difference of it. Okay, this one and the saturation knob are not in series. Okay, so you know that because it's only affect only half of the signal, okay, because the other half is for saturation and this half is ezmix, so the effect is a little more subtle. Okay, it's not gonna be as much as in series. Okay, so right now let's hear it. Okay, this is bypass. Let me put it in. You see the tone is warmer and smoother, but it also have the high EQ. You know, the EQ was the high is a little brighter. Up, on, up. Okay, hopefully you can hear that it's brighter. Okay, and so that's nice. So let's say I have these two plugins, and if I put them in series, it's not gonna sound that good, because I can do that for you, but you know, just to save some time here, if I put it in series, the saturation knob only cause the high to break up, and then now that you go into the compression on here, it will make it worse. It will make it a little too bright. Okay, what I do is this: I just make it parallel so that only half of the signal get affected by this one, and the other half get affected by this one, and then we blend it together, and then now the signal with the two together. Okay, bypass. See, it's lighter, and it's not very emphasized. Okay, if you engage it, the note, everything is clear. Okay, everything is clear and higher definition. Okay. Now you can hear the high, and the definition is nicer. Okay, that's why I use them, right? But then it's also create another problem. The problem is my guitar by itself, when I strum really hard right here, it's already harsh. Now that you add these things up, the effect amplify, you know, so you have more of the harshness here. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, turn up, turn on. Okay, hopefully you hear that it make it harsher. Okay, and so that's why the next plugin will fix that. Okay, so let me put them up the C4 here. Okay, the C4 is actually a 4-band multiband compression. Okay, and it's have 4-band here. That's why it's called C4. And what I'm doing here is this: I want to tame the high down when I, you know, when I strum hard. I want to tame the high down, or I play the high note on the guitar. I want to tame it down. But normally, you know, in other passages that I play light, and I play the bass notes up here, then I don't need it to cut the high. Okay. So that's the nice thing about the multiband compression, because if you just use an EQ, all right, and then you cut out the high, okay, you're going to lose that high forever, you know, because you cut it out, you don't have that anymore, even if you play the low note. So what you do is have multiband compression instead of an EQ, because it just compress the high more than the low, and it leaves the low intact, and it, you know, the harshness is right here. Okay, so this third band here, okay, around 3.2K here. Okay, this 3.2K here is the harshness of my guitar here, and that's why when I set it to -11, you know, whenever I strum really hard, it just pin down really hard. Okay, so let me show you what I mean here. So when I play really hard here, I'm gonna engage it, and you see the difference. Okay, this is bypass here. Engage again. Okay, this is engage. Let's hit the high note here. You see that? It kind of pinched out, and when you play high note. Okay, so that's the idea why, you know, why I use the multiband compression. So that's the C4 for you. And then lastly, you know, you want to put in a reverb. So now you hear the signal like this. This is no reverb, right? And this is, I use the reverb for, this is the H reverb here. I use the mono one, okay? Okay, now engage the reverb. Okay, because you put the reverb in series with the signal, you have to dial the dry wet down, okay, to like maybe 30% or 20% here, unless you want to do a different routing, okay. So like if you create a effect channel, I right click on it and add an effect channel, okay, and then I put this plugin over here, and I turn it on maximum, like 100 wet. And then I send to it for the reverb to show up in channel 1. I mean in the guitar channel, you have to send it to the guitar output too. Okay. So this type of routing, you can see that we have an extra fader here. The good thing about this is like when you want to adjust the reverb quickly, you have the fader right there. You grab it and you move it, okay? And then you get the right amount of reverb. But the drawback is this. You have a lot of channel, you know. You have guitar, bass, keyboard, drums, vocal. Every channel, and you have a reverb right next to it. It's really annoying because there's a lot of channel that you created. That's why, I mean, if you create channel this way, you're going to have a lot of channel on your mixer, and it's really confusing. So I recommend don't do this way, because even though it's convenient for the fader, I would just ignore this one, because I mean I want it as simple as possible. That's my goal. Okay, so one channel on the mixer correspond to one channel on Studio One. Okay, so that's just the mono channel. Let's do a stereo so you understand how I do stereo. Okay. All right, okay, so this is my stereo channel, okay? So the middle channel here, if you look at it, it's just like a mono channel before. You know, you have the saturation knob and the ezmix in parallel, okay? So it's like this. You see? It's just in parallel, okay? And then I just basically duplicate track complete, and then you duplicate track complete again, that you create another two other copy of it. Depending like that, will create the left channel and the right channel and the middle channel. What happened is I want to create a wet, dry, wet channel so that the guitar has the depth, okay? And that's the whole point. The whole point is you have the left channel with some kind of plugins, and then on the right channel, you have a different kind of plugin so that they're not exactly the same, okay? And the reason you want to do that, because you want to create a stereo image that not only the left and the right play differently, it play in different time. It create like a type of reverb that make the sound deeper, okay, and richer when it blend together, okay? So it's like a layer sound, but it layer in different timing, okay? So what do I mean by that? If you look at channel left here, if I click on it, and if you go to the inspector, I delay that by 60 milliseconds. And then if you go to the channel right, I actually delay it for 50 milliseconds. That's the whole point. The whole point is I don't want them to arrive to my ear at the same time. Okay? So the middle channel here will be at 0, because it you know, as soon as you play it go to your ear, and then 50 milliseconds later the right channel arrive to your ear, and then 60 milliseconds later the left channel arrive to your ear. So you create an effect called psychoacoustic. Okay, a psychoacoustic, that means that your brain perceive the same signal multiple times. Okay, so whatever the first signal that comes to your ear, your brain interpret as the most important signal. Okay, so that's the main signal. And then whatever copy that come later, your brain just treat it like an echo or a reverb. Okay, and it does it automatically, so you don't even think about it. It just that's how your brain process the sound. and because you have it on far left and far right, and it interact with the room, and that's how you get that type of psychoacoustic and make the sound of your guitar wider and deeper. But I have to warn you that by doing that, the sound of your guitar can be diffused, okay? By saying diffused, I mean, it's not like it's bad or anything, but when you do a solo, it might not sound as sharp at the mono channel, okay? But it actually have a very good depth that you cannot do this with a mono channel, okay? So this is what a mono sound like. All right, when I unsolo this one, 3 of them going at the same time, and you see the effect of it. Mono again. You see that mono? And this is stereo, and it's actually delayed by 60 millisecond and 50 millisecond. All right, let's put the plugin on, okay? You see now okay, you see now it have another layer, okay? Because not only that it delay differently, it has different processor on it. So like the middle channel would have both of these on, but the left channel I only keep the saturation knob on, and the right channel I only keep the ezmix on. It create a different effect on each side, okay? And then after that, I send all of these 3 channel here into a bus, okay? So basically I bus it to this acoustic bus here, and on the acoustic bus I do the same thing over again. I use the C4, all right, to take care of the treble there, and then at the end I put on the RTG Mastering Live. This is like a very famous console. Basically, I like this one on my guitar, so I use the acoustic warm it up for the almost like mastering my guitar channel, okay, at the end. And then not only that, it has this knob. It's pretty cool here. It's called a spreader. You know, you can spread out the left and right even further. Okay, let me show you what I mean here. Let's just play this. Turn it on. All right, this is not spreading at all, okay? Now I spread it out. That's wider, okay? See, I can spread out +2, +4, or +5. +5 is the maximum, okay? Okay, I think +4 sounds very good too, so I don't know. I mean, yeah, whatever you want to do. I mean, sometimes some of the song or some of the setting I like on +2, other I like or +4 or +5. Then again, you know, the more that you spread them out, the more your guitar sound will be diffused. And the diffused sound, sometimes you play a fast solo, it doesn't sound as strong as the mono channel, okay? So just to let you know that. But as far as picking and strumming, it sounds really, really nice, okay? So let me demo it. Okay, let me turn everything up. You hear the main signal. All right. So this is just my guitar, my guitar signal. Okay. Now that I pan them out with 3 more channels, and then put the plug-in on. All right. I hope you can see the effect of the plugins on the mono channel and on the stereo channel. All right. If you can use the stereo channel on your mixer, it sounds really, really nice. Okay. How do I do a stereo on my mixer? So basically, if you look at my mixer here, so my guitar plugged into channel 5, but when I process in Studio One and the signal return to channel 13 and 14 here, which is the virtual instrument. Let's go back to Studio One. You see that the source of these 3 channels will be guitar 1, right? And then they go to the bus, and then from the bus it return to virtual instrument instead of back to guitar 1. Because if you send back to guitar 1, the stereo channel crammed out to the mono again, so you lost all the effect. Okay. So that's why you have to return to a stereo channel on the mixer to make it stereo, okay? So this virtual, when we return to virtual instrument here, we actually return to channel 13 and 14 on my mixer. So let me play something and you see it. Okay, you go back to my, see that? 13 and 14 playing, okay? And then because you don't play channel 5 anymore, you can mute it. Okay. You just play from channel 13 and 14 here. Okay. So that's it. I hope you learned something from these techniques and apply it to your setup. Okay. Thank you for watching the video.